The Cyrus family has more than a few skeletons hanging around their glass closets. After Billy Ray split from Tish back in July of 2022, he moved on with singer Firerose, whom he initially met while on the set of Hannah Montana. Firerose, for her part, was a guest star on his daughter's show when she was just 22. Billy Ray said, "I loved doing that show," and this was in an interview with People in November of 2022. He's like, "There's a couple of pine trees on the lot that looked like Tennessee. My dog and I would go out there in the middle of the day. He'd take care of his business, we'd stretch, and I'd think about how much I miss Tennessee." So on this given day, Firerose came out of the front door. There was almost a moment of, I don't know, recognition. I was like, this girl's a star. The pair, who have a 27-year age difference, worked together as music collaborators before getting engaged. Now, Billy is breaking his silence after a private conversation between him and Firerose was publicly leaked. On Wednesday, July 24th, the country star used social media to address this audio recording, in which he was heard berating and belittling Firerose. By the way, they're currently in the process of a divorce, and they were only together for 7 months of marriage. He said, "Hell yeah, I was at my wit's end. As every day went by, I started realizing something was wrong. And that's before I knew she was a fraud." He said this in an Instagram story and through his representative. "I just knew something wasn't right. That was before I knew she was David Hodges' ex-wife. That's before I knew her parents' last name." Billy Ray Cyrus claimed, "Everything I thought I knew about her was a lie," alleging that Firerose was trying to take over his career, his life, and use the Cyrus name for her own gain. He concluded his post by warning the artist that he would see her in court. A rep for Firerose had no comment on the most recent developments. So in the leaked audio, which lasted around a minute and a half, a man who sounds like Cyrus is heard arguing with Firerose about being late for an event, which a Firerose source claims was a Nicki Minaj concert that Billy Ray was invited to perform at in Tennessee. He said, "It's 9:15, you idiot. I needed to leave 2 hours ago." "No, you didn't. You can still leave and get there in time," Firerose replied. As the conversation continued, Cyrus was heard telling Firerose to shut the F up and called her an effing selfish B-word when she asked him to please stop screaming at her. He was really excited about it and couldn't wait for the opportunity, an insider said, but Firerose didn't want him to take the offer because the next morning she had a meeting that she wanted him to attend with her, and she wanted them to get a good night's sleep. Cyrus promised Firerose he would be home early, but she allegedly wasn't happy about the situation. She started a fight with Billy Ray and even got physical, allegedly hitting him. Billy eventually gave in and agreed not to perform at the Nicki concert. This was all according to a source. He wanted to cool off, so he decided to go sleep out in a cabin in the backyard of their Tennessee home, which he also uses as his music room. A second source denied that Firerose was responsible for any sort of physical violence in the relationship. They said, "It's unfortunate that the real bully continues to spin his story. These allegations from him came out after she shared her truth in early filings, which then caused his story to grow and evolve." According to the first insider, their aforementioned argument escalated, and Cyrus's comments were a result of his frustration, adding, "Firerose was upset that he did that, so she started recording on her phone and picked the lock of the cabin, which is when the audio can be heard of him going off on her. It had just become too much at that point. He isn't proud of the things he said, but she had just pushed him past his boiling point." In addition to this leaked audio, Rose Palermo and Jason Talley of Chatham Palermo and Garrett, who are representing Billy Ray in his divorce, also shared a statement with the press. They referred to the leak as an apparent last-ditch effort to squeeze money out of Billy Ray, because apparently Mr. Cyrus previously admitted in a court filing that he had been very vocally frustrated and angry with Firerose during their marriage as he began to uncover more and more of her true motives for marrying him. Well, it sounds like Billy Ray is kind of on his own now, since most of his offspring have actually distanced themselves from him. When Miley won her first Grammy Award, somebody notable was missing from the people she thanked: her dad. In her acceptance speech, she thanked her team, her mom Tish, half-sister Brandy, and her boyfriend, and ended with, "I don't think I forgot anyone, but I might have forgotten underwear. Bye," making it clear the snub was intentional. Speaking of Tish, following her separation from Billy Ray, she moved on with one Dominic Purcell. The couple got engaged in April 2023 and tied the knots just 4 months later. Trace, Miley, and Brandon were all spotted at their mom's wedding, but Noah and Brayson were very public on social media about just being at a Walmart. They shared on social media a series of photos that showed them hanging out instead of going to the wedding. In one photo, Noah donned a t-shirt that featured her father's photo, and neither of them have really addressed that. A source leaked in February of 2024 that Noah was actually seeing Dominic when Tish started pursuing him, and Tish was allegedly aware of her youngest daughter's romance with the Prison Break star, but nobody's really addressed the claims, but it could explain maybe why there's a bit of family estrangement going on there. Allegedly, the turmoil between Noah and Tish goes far beyond what people think, according to an insider. Noah is very distraught over Tish stealing Dominic from her. Miley and Liam Hemsworth had an on-again and off-again relationship that began after they worked together on the very popular 2010 film The Last Song. The pair got engaged in June of 2012, but then called it off the following year. In 2016, they rekindled their romance and tied the knot 2 years later. However, the twosome split for good after only 8 months of marriage. Following their split, Miley was accused of cheating on Hemsworth after she was spotted getting really cozy with Caitlyn Carter. Now, Miley, for her part, shut down the allegations and cleared the air. She said, "Once Liam and I reconciled, I meant it, and I was committed." This was in a very lengthy Twitter thread in August of 2019. She said, "There are no secrets to uncover here. I've learned from every experience in my life. I'm not perfect. I don't want to be. It's boring. I've grown up in front of you, but the bottom line is I have grown up. I can admit to a lot of things, but I refuse to admit that my marriage ended because of cheating. Liam and I have been together for a decade. I've said it before and it remains true. I love Liam and always will." Well, in 2023, Miley released her song Flowers, which was seemingly about said breakup. For a while, Miley actually took the cake as the most controversial member of the Cyrus family, but if you take a look at sibling Trace's social media history, don't think that's the case anymore. The Metro station lead singer has been under fire for his problematic comments and very sexist views. But despite everything, he believes the true problems lie with his last name. In an Instagram Q&A session, Trace shared that he thinks he would have been more successful if it weren't for his famous family. He said, "People immediately want to judge me and discredit all my hard work because of who I'm related to. But that's so far from the truth. I got a record deal without anyone from my label even knowing who I was related to until after they signed me." He shared that he's been trying to break out of this association by leaving out his last name from his social media accounts. Well, it's kind of ironic that he uses his social media presence to express his hot takes. In August of 2023, he posted a rant to the app formerly known as Twitter about women who do S work. He believed they could never find serious partners because men only viewed them as objects of pleasure. He wrote, "I just think this independent mindset of not needing a man is extremely toxic and leads to a very lonely future. I hope more girls continue to speak up about this so other girls know the risk of getting into it." He finished with another so-called pearl of wisdom, writing, "Having a good man and a family will bring you more happiness in old age than OF ever could." Naturally, he received tons of backlash. Several creators clapped back with snaps of their very healthy relationships. Well, fast forward September 2023, he went on another rant on his Instagram stories. This time, he expressed that he felt sorry for his exes because they had to spend their lives without him. He described how his ex-girlfriends from like decades ago still can't get over a high-value, good morale man like him. He was saddened because all they had to settle for was the next best thing that couldn't compare to his greatness. He urged women to hold on to men like him since they're so rare to come around. He strongly advised them against letting their flighty emotions and irrational decision-making get in the way of a relationship with a loving man. Meanwhile, back in 2019, he posted a photo of his then-fiancée with his hand around her neck. Now, when Instagram users reported the picture and it got taken down for community guidelines violations, and obviously, he didn't stay silent. He said that everybody who reported it was just jealous of her beauty. He was like, "Oh, work on yourself so you don't feel attacked." Alrighty. Well, that's all folks. See ya!